Welcome to another episode of Legends of the Rhine. Today we are outside of Rheinstein Castle near Trechtingshausen, Germany. You know, there are a lot of beautiful castles, a lot of old-time charm, and some pretty great wine in this region. But what most don't realize is underneath this beauty and old-time charm lies a great world of legends and folk tales all up and down the river. And that is exactly why we are at this beautiful 13th century castle today. This castle's legend has all the essentials. A knight and a lady seeking true love, a betrayal within the family, and a surprisingly helpful four-legged animal. But before we get into legend, let's take a high-level look at the history of this beautiful castle. Built in approximately the year 1316, this castle has had several names throughout its history, including Burg Volksberg. It was built to monitor the ban on rebuilding the Rheinstein ruins, which sit just over 1 kilometer north of this location. By the 16th century, the castle was in such disrepair that the French even decided it was not worth destroying during the 9 Years' War. It sat largely in ruins until it was rebuilt in the early 19th century by Prince Friedrich of Prussia. The prince is now buried in the chapel's crypt. It gets a bit interesting in the 1970s because an English buyer deceived the previous owner and removed and sold parts from the castle. After this, it was again in poor condition when it was eventually purchased by a famous opera singer. With the help of an association, they have restored and furnished the castle to the condition that we see today. There is a restaurant in the castle now, and you can even have your wedding inside. For a fee, of course. Alright, I know that was a lot of history to take in, but trust me, it goes a lot deeper than what I've given you today. So if you are interested, definitely Google the castle, this entire region, Google the whole region. It's really wonderful history. But what you really came here for today is this tale, this legend. So, will true love prevail, or will the family betrayal win in the end? Let's find out. This tale begins with a knight named Siegfried, who had a beautiful foreign wife. They gave birth to a baby girl named Gerda. Now, unfortunately, Siegfried's wife died during the birth, so Gerda became his primary focus in life. Gerda grew up to be a beautiful woman in the image of her mother, which attracted many lords and knights from around the land. But she rejected all of their marriage proposals because she had fallen in love with a knight named Kuno. Kuno was also in love with Gerda, but unfortunately he came from a lesser family and had little to offer the beautiful lady. In order to show Siegfried that he was worthy of his daughter, Kuno went off to war. He returned with a white horse which he had trained. He gave the horse as a gift to Gerda, and the two instantly became best companions. Now Kuno was still quite poor, so he asked his uncle Kurt of Castle Ehrenfels for a loan. And his uncle decided to speak with Siegfried in person as he understood his nephew's love. But as Kurt arrived at Siegfried's castle, he instantly fell in love with Gerda at first sight. He offered a marriage proposal, and Siegfried could not deny this request for his daughter's hand. Gerda, of course, begged to marry Kuno, but her father refused her pleas. Alright, this legend's really starting to get pretty interesting here, but I want to take a break for a moment, because I don't want you to think that all legends end with happily ever after, especially not in Germany. In Germany, I would say you have about a 50-50 shot of a happily ever after or dark despair and twisted, sinister ending. So don't count out the sinister ending just yet. So let me know in the comments how you think this story's gonna end. Are we gonna get our happily ever after with the lovebirds? Or is the family betrayal gonna win the day? Let's find out, and let's conclude this legend. On the morning of the wedding, Gerda rode her white horse and was about to board the barge to travel to Castle Ehrenfels when her horse turned and galloped away with Gerda on it. It was quite clear that the horse was riding to Castle Rheinfels, where Kuno was living. So Kurt and Siegfried followed in pursuit but were unable to keep pace with the white horse. Gerda arrived at Castle Rheinstein, and Kuno began to prepare for the attack he knew was to come. However, only Siegfried arrived quietly at the front gates of the castle. During the feverish pursuit, Uncle Kurt fell off his horse and died. Perhaps this was the universe speaking to Siegfried, because he then accepted that true love had won the day and gave his blessing to Kuno to marry the beautiful Gerda. So, did your prediction come true? happily ever after, as you predicted, right? Well, don't get too comfortable with that. As I said, many of the legends in Germany often have a more dark and sinister twist at the ending. But if you ask me, the horse was the real hero in all of this, and it ended happily for most of the characters, maybe not the one. So if you like what you saw and you like this episode, definitely subscribe to the channel because I will be continuing my journey along the Rhine River with the Legends of the Rhine series. I will also continue other series that I have ongoing, such as Brothers Grimm versus Disney. I will pick that back up in the springtime when it's a little bit warmer out. So join me next time on the next episode of Legends of the Rhine. And until next time, adventure awaits.